Hello and welcome to the Den. Today I'm going to go over the two new news drops that happened regarding the leagues because I'm covering literally everything leagues, and primary focus here is to cover things maybe you didn't notice and hasn't been covered anywhere else. These two content specifically is what I'm going over, a video and a content drop on the news page. So first thing I want to call out is we are not starting in Birthrope as some people may have planned, because our three characters do start out in Birthrope, so we are starting in Lumbridge, very old schooly, and then they did announce the three relics for tier 1. So I want to go over this real fast. So Animal Wrangler, pretty short and simple, solves fishing and hunter to some capacity. You get 50% increased rate fishing. Things are auto deposited in a bank, and you can auto cook your food. For hunter, traps never fail, instantly sending all creatures straight to the bank. You'll also gain double hunter XP loot and turning every hunt into a far more rewarding adventure. So the way this last one's phased, to me it still doesn't sound like it's going to affect big game hunter outside of just the double loot. I don't think you're going to get more triple spawns or anything like that, but it does solve fishing, cooking, and hunter. The issue is archaeology has a relic called bait and switch, which it does require 100 or 99 archaeology to unlock, but it does, like, fishing, produce, or cooked when caught. So to me, this whole one is kind of solved. Hunter, I'm not really worried about, and cooking, I'm not either. So Hunter will probably have some gnarly tasks associated to it. So 99 will probably be done through task anyways. And it doesn't actually help with big game hunter having 2x loot, in my opinion. It does help with chins, but the 2x loot, essentially you're going to get one Matic and you're set. The other loot's like not bad, but 2x isn't anything crazy in my opinion. So this to me is the worst one that we'll be covering. The next one up's the second best. Essentially you're going to get a powerful hatchet. Assumption is it's best in slots. But it will allow you to instantly burn things when toggled and send everything else to the bank. Also, divination essentially allows you to auto deposit in the rift, allowing you to AFK for a super long amount of time. That's essentially what it's going for. You get double divine energy from springs and memory conversion. So it's not bad. So it solves woodcutting, divination, which is required for invention, and then fire making, fletching, and construction, just because you're gonna have more logs, which are used for both these skills. First issue is always adds the 83 archaeology. You can unlock this, and then when woodcutting you will always burn your cut logs for fire making XP. So that's solved. The other one is the memory dowser. If you don't know what this does, it essentially does the divination part. Not quite as OP, but essentially as AFK. This does have some pretty high requirements to get. But my whole thing is you're going to probably be doing Gate of Validness anyways for other tasks, and probably equipping a memory dowser is probably going to be a task, so this is going to be something that you're going to be getting anyways. So to me, this is kind of dead in the water just from these two. The other thing is there is a divine conversion as well, 98 archaeology, that help with divination. But in construction and fletching will probably end up solved later on with a relic if it contains like a GP assorted relic, so I'm not really worried about these two specifically. The other thing to call out is we don't know if this can be brought into engineering with you, and to me that is a big con, because DG div is incredibly busted, and this not being allowed in it, which would have been a really big pro of it, is it would have made that even better by a significant margin. That means this to me is dead in the water as well. Which brings me into the last one, as Excavator. Essentially acts as a pickaxe and a matic. That in itself has pros and cons, honestly, depending on if we can augment it or not, or if it can be used in the inventory. That's something I do have a question out for Jagex on, to see how augmenting these tools is going to work. But essentially automatically smith your bars, gems are cut instantly, resources are sent straight to the bank. You also get more chronotes, use half the usual materials when restoring artifacts, and enjoy stationary time spirits for easier efficiency. Plus you'll deal extra damage during opportunities, and occasionally your geodes will even yield archaeology materials. Everything in this is just nuts. So it does solve archaeology, it does solve mining obviously, but because of mining it also solves smithing, and it solves crafting with gem rocks. So both of these are big wins for this. Both these are in themselves big ones. Like both these are, this is 120 skill, this is 110 skill, this is 110 skill, and this is 110 skill. So these are all incredibly useful. And then with archaeology, obviously, you do get the 2 earlier relics I was talking about when with always adz and bait and switch. So to me, this one is a no-brainer. I can't think of any downsides for this specifically. Like, the use half the usual materials when restoring artifacts alone is ginormous. I cannot express how OP this one is incomparable to the other ones. The second one's not bad, this one's just dead water in my opinion. Now, to cover some of the other things that was kind of released, we kind of did get some reveals. So the first thing I'm going to cover is it's definitely not going to be region locked like the last leagues. The whole world is going to be open up. And it does also sound like we're not going to have any leagues unlocks. So in one of the last leagues called Shattered Relics, which I actually enjoyed, it had some cons obviously, but overall I think it was really good. You gotta unlock skills, you gotta unlock bosses, and you can unlock full quests to just be auto-completed. That also seems to not be the case. So to me it sounds like it's just gonna be open world, super accelerated, and then we're gonna have relics, and then maybe something else. But I just wanted to let you know that this is probably like 99% confident based on the conversations I've had with Jagex that we're not going to have any gimmick, quote unquote, this year. So that's that. Next thing I wanted to go over is the tasks themselves. They did kind of reveal a bit of them. Of those, someone in the Magical RS3 Discord did go ahead and try and make a very well-educated guess of how many tasks there were at the time of development of this, and it was 750 tasks, which does feel low compared to the 1,000+ tasks that Old School had in the last few leagues. So that is, I have knowledge that this isn't the final number by any shot, but I would keep my expectation low that there's not going to be lots and lots of tasks. Probably, I think we might be lucky to have 1,000 tasks. The other thing I want to call out is they did show off the UI for this. So we have tasks, relics, and ranks. We are missing anything else here, so if this is it, then this is it. That's all we got. I do want to call out, this is a really, really good UI, but frankly, compared to all of Old School's, this I think will fit all of the needs we might want. So this is solid. This is really, really good for us. If you didn't see, this is also the new UI for it. So right here, I believe, is the tier task, and then this is kind of where it's at, which is good because it means in next league that they have, they'll probably be able to do region restriction a little bit better if they wanted to go down that path. But yeah, they do have some new UI for that with, I'm hoping, a good sound effect. But this looks like it's a medium task. That looks like an easy task. They did also give us examples of this, and this seems pretty straightforward. The only thing I would call out is entering Xanaris via the Lumbridge Swamp. To me, this tells me that we will still have some questing to do, that we won't have fairy rings instantly unlocked like we have on Old School. So that's something small I did want to call out. Because it's in hard specifically, that's a weird one to me. So this is all assuming that these are actual real tasks that they're using as an example. And lastly, I do want to go over the fact that they did show kind of what the Relics UI looks like as well. And there's a few extra things that we can depict from that. So obviously we have the tier 1, then we have 3 in tier 2, 3 in tier 3, 3 in tier 4, 2-ish it looks like in tier 5, but what we did notice is on the background wall, and they could have done this just to mess with us too, I want to call that out, is they're fully aware we look at stuff like this. So in the background TVs that they had open, they had all of these extra relics. So someone already went through and kind of mapped out the ones we knew and ones we didn't. So we have the first 3, and then we have Golden Footed and Farming Frenzy, which are already previously confirmed relics. And that looks like a Thieving Relic. And then we have this Pickaxe, maybe Skiller Teleport, Passage Teleport, Clues is what that one looks like. This one looks like Production Master, and this, if this is it, I'm definitely taking this, I think. This one, people are thinking is Total Recall. I think it might be something different. And this looks like a clue scroll. This looks like magic, melee, necromancer, ranged. So this could be a 2x2 on this one. So that could be combat related-ish. Last one is like a quest icon, a Reaper slash Slayer icon, and that looks like Banker's Note is way... It could be way over to the right, so somewhere in this area. And then there's some others that just weren't slapped anywhere. There was a Adrenaline or CD related one that people are guessing. This one looks like Prayer, this one looks like Invention. And then this one, I actually have no idea what this is. It looks like a pickaxe with some extra stuff, but someone put Last Stand or Spec. I have no idea what this one is. So that's interesting if we do have the combat ones here. I think they might be someone else. And then on this one's Total Recall, which that's not a bad icon for it. The only issue is it could also be reloaded, which allows you to go back and pick another relic. So I do think this one's clues. I do think this one is probably something else, either like a fairy's flight or something, and then I just straight up have no idea what this one. This one could also be reloaded. I'm not seeing like any gold income one so far. This one could be gold, like a golden god, but yeah, we don't really know. This one's definitely production master, it looks like. I'm just comparing to the last leagues because we know what these ones are and what they did. But it definitely feels like we just straight up don't know what some of these are. So, and they could be placeholders for actual images, we don't know. But yeah, so this is what our best bet is right now on which ones are kind of guesstimated based on the pictures that we have and how many tiers we have, because we do have 7 tiers. And that kind of concludes everything that I wanted to go over that was in the video that's kind of been discussed more or wasn't completely defined in the video itself. So that does get me into predictions. So they did announce reveals and teasers. So what I'm imagining on the 29th is we're gonna get any more theme or any extra gimmick maybe that has been missed so far. The only reason why is we have this catalyst, and typically their theme means something. It has some consequence or something that it allows the player to do, and I haven't seen anything that's kind of themed towards catalyst yet. I also imagine we're gonna get some boosted drop rates announcements. We already know they're coming, but I imagine like a more formal presentation of what is being boosted and what's not being boosted. The other thing is we have 16 plus, or like 16-ish relics to announce, so I'm imagining that. And then a questing solution. The biggest complaint that I've heard from people wanting to get into RS3 leagues is they don't want to freaking do quests again. So I'm imagining we're gonna have some solution for that in here. I just don't know what it's gonna look like exactly. Outside that, it's probably gonna be more relics for a bit. Outside that, I do think we're gonna get something related to combat mastery still announced. There's nothing so far that showed like a combat masteries equivalent in a UI, but I still think that's going to be announced later on. And then passives, so when I say passives, tier 1 passives versus like tier 2. So tier 1 has already been announced, it sounds like, where it is infinite run and crops grow like 5 times faster, stuff like that. So I imagine we're going to have more and more passes for each tier we unlock. So I'm curious on this. And then at the very, very end, September 11th, we're going to probably have all relics announced and released. So I'm looking forward to that. And then sometime after it started, we're going to have the rewards completely ironed out during the leagues. And those will be showcased then. Because right now we have some of the rewards kind of showed, and they look like the trophies. We're going to have some League's aura, combat ability overrides League's pet, teleport animation. Then we're also going to have some outfits as well that I don't think is too crazy, so I didn't bother showing it here. So that's what I'm assuming the prediction is going to be like. We'll see how many I'm right on. I'll revisit this in the future, but this is what it was last leagues, so that's what I'm kind of going off of, is it's going to be something like this, some pattern like this. But we'll see. But alright, that's it. Hopefully you learned something that you didn't find elsewhere. And I will see you when more leagues announcement come out. Bye.